Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr Gail Millin-Chalabi from EnviroSAR, and I'm here to represent myself and my team, which is Dr Joanna Tantanasi and also Adam Johnson, who's our R&D lead. I'd like to thank the Innovation Optimiser Showcase for inviting me to present today and for the award that they've provided to the company of £5,000. So what's the problem we're trying to address? Well, wildfires, believe it or not, are quite a large issue in the UK. We have 118,000 grassland fires. That's just in 2011 to 2012 alone. And it can cost in the region £55 million per annum for fire and rescue services to actually put out these wildfires. For one large wildfire, it can cost around £1 million to extinguish. And these can really vary between them actually being caused by arson or accidental fire. And so as a result, with wildfires, a lot of the time they're burning on peaty substrate. So this means that even when a fire and rescue service put out a wildfire, they kind of smoulder and carry on burning. So they don't really become fully extinguished until we have a very heavy downpour of rain like we had today. So the problem with wildfires is, of course, they cause vegetation loss. They also release large amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, contributing to global warming. And also they increase runoff, which potentially can cause downstream flooding and erosion of gullies. So then we get this discoloration of drinking water, which is a real concern to water companies. And indeed, that's who really we're focusing on for this company, is saving water companies money through being able to better target where they should revegetate and manage their catchments. So we're currently discussing our proposal with Yorkshire Water and United Utilities. And really, EnviroSAR aims to really impact on these key issues around wildfires. So the kind of increasing downstream flooding and also on carbon dioxide release as well. So we're looking at those really kind of severe wildfires. And so our solution is to provide a national monitoring and detection tool for monitoring moorland and heathland wildfires. So we're going to be generating products from Earth observation satellite data. At the moment, currently, you only really get a rendezvous point of where a wildfire has occurred, so just point data. So with our new system, we'll be able to provide sort of aerial extents of wildfires and burn scar areas, and be able to model carbon losses and ultimately reduce water discoloration. So our key focus is to look at the UK wildfire issues, but also broadly to go out to other wider areas across the world as we develop our solution. The ideas came out of my PhD, which was looking at monitoring burn scar areas for the Peak District National Park. And so the IP was released as part of my PhD last year. And this is the team. We're an interdisciplinary team within the School of Environment Education and Development. And so I want to take you through kind of a photo tour of our journey, which really began with UNIT and the Innovation Optimiser. Me and my colleague here, Stefano Amici, attended the trainings, and we found them really useful for that development of the business model. And then me and Joanna graduated just last July, and really thanks to the support of my supervisors, Julie McMorrow, who is also a specialist in wildfire management, and Professor Clive Agnew, who is a specialist in hydrology, upland hydrology. I think these have been fundamental people in my journey, along with my manager, Kamika Mito, who I worked on Landmap with for 8 years. So we submitted the idea to Copernicus Masters. This was in July of last year, and then we did a pitch down at the Satellite Applications Catapult in Harwell, and we won that pitch, and it was really great. We won that competition. And so they paid for us to go out to Madrid and collect our award, and that was a very special night, a really great evening. And through that we've been able to get a lot of mentoring and support. And then I was invited to do a pitch at the Innovate UK conference in November last year. And then we actually introduced EnviroSAR formally to the Earth observation community down at Harwell in Oxfordshire. That was in December of last year. And then me and Joanna have been continuing to do networking at the UK Space Conference this year. This was kindly funded by the Science Technology Funding Council. We then incorporated the company in March and moved on to having a feature as the Startup of the Month, which was marketed all over Europe. And then we've become part now of the UMIT Momentum programme, so kind of taking that next step on really in the journey with UMIT. And we're just currently completing the Copernicus Accelerator programme as well at the end of this month. So what's our next steps? Well, we hope to apply for the European Space Agency Kickstart and Business Incubation Centre funding. We've really established a lot of strong links with the Satellite Applications Catapult, and we hope to host our minimum viable product at SEMS, which is embedded in the Satellite Applications Catapult in Harwell. We are currently engaging with our customers, really finding out exactly what it is that they want, what they need, making sure we're not developing an MVP, which is what we think they want, but actually addressing their needs. And ultimately to obtain funding to continue to grow our team as well.
Hi, my name is Meera and I'm going to talk to you about our company Neurolytics. Through extensive marketing research, we have noticed that traditional marketing methods use surveys and focus groups. And these are limited to bias. It captures a snapshot of information in one moment in time. It's outdated and it has a lot of biases. We have noticed that there is another way of measuring behaviour. So to overcome these limitations, we scope out human interactions through biometric tools. So at Neurolytics, we see neuromarketing at the forefront of innovation. We see consumer behaviour and neuromarketing in its infancy. We've identified that how we think we make decisions is different to how we actually make decisions. And now this is our problem. And this is based on the conscious and subconscious part of our brains. So what we think we actually do, or how people respond on surveys, isn't actually what they really do. So the tools that we use in our company is the EEG and the eye tracker. Now the EEG measures brain activity. The eye tracker looks at eye movements to indicate cognitive processes. There's also the galvanic skin response, or the heart rate monitoring that measures physiological responses. And these all can be combined to measure that subconscious part of the brain that is so difficult to measure. So together, as a company, we solve that problem by measuring consumer behaviour to marketing stimuli. An example would be for my PhD at the moment, I'm looking at consumer engagement with an EEG, so I'm looking at brain activity, to online shopping on a website called ASOS. And we can extend that to so many other retail environments. So we have commercialised this solution and mapped out a 3-stage vision. In the short term, what we would do is we'd provide our service to marketing companies. And we'd provide data analysis for them. We'd then, in the midterm, provide our service to retailers themselves. And then we'll scale up our product. So basically, we'll use stage 1 and stage 2 as an experience. And once we've learnt the lessons from marketers and retailers themselves, we'll have enough information to create our own plug-and-play product that we can launch. And this will take several years, but we're adamant to do this. So we wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for the journey that we went through. And a lot of journey is thanks to the Manchester events and programs that we attended. So I'm going to take you through a story of the journey that we actually went through and how we got here today. So it started off where we're all 4 PhD students and we're governed by a mutual supervisor called Dr. Alex Casson. And our colleague Mo attended Manchester Entrepreneur events. We're all doing projects using the EEG, so very similar projects, but we're looking at different things. One of our team members, Mohammed, basically said, hey guys, I've been to a Manchester Entrepreneur event, and I think we have a great idea comprised of all our PhD projects together. Let's start a company. At the time, we didn't really know if the idea would work or not. So we attended another event, which is Pitch Bootcamp. And Pitch Bootcamp was a 2-day event held at the University of Manchester. We pitched our ideas, we communicated effectively, and we actually realised that we believed in our idea and other people believed in it too. So that validated what we already had. Mohammed also did a postgraduate showcase where he presented his research and met Tony Walker. And from that, UMIT helped us with the protection of our idea. They helped us commercialise our idea and introduced us to some more networks. We were then introduced to a competition called Venture Further, which at the time we were quite new as a team, and we were looking at how each other works as a team and how our business plan, how our business proposition worked. And it actually paid off. All our hard work paid off. We ended up winning first prize in the business category. And this gave us funding to progress with the rest of our idea, which led us to Roadmap, so the Innovation Optimiser, which concurrently we were doing it with Venture Further, and we did a few workshops, which was once every month. And that gave us the knowledge that we didn't really know. We couldn't really learn much about entrepreneurship from our degrees or from our PhDs. So this helped us a lot with the knowledge. So what skills did we learn? So I've basically listed some of the skills, but there are a lot of things that were so invaluable to us. So we had an idea, we followed through with it, we got validation from our idea from Pitch Bootcamp, and all along the way we networked with some more companies, which grew our idea into a bigger arena. And then UMIT helped us with the security and introducing us to competitions that gave us funding, which led us to continuous knowledge at the Innovation Optimiser. And all through that we've met a lot of people, we've networked and obtained great advice. At the moment, as it stands, we have 2 clients, and some of us are finishing off that PhD, so we are going to start our first client jobs in September. And at the moment we're looking at branding, which is quite fun and exciting, so we're looking at start creating our website. We then need to perform those projects, so we need to develop the case studies with the EEG eye tracking and tailor it to the marketing companies, tailor it to what they actually want. Once we grow, once we've obtained revenue, we'll then have some more employees that will work full time and will extend further. Towards the end of stage 2, we will get more projects that we'll have in a short amount of 3 or 4 projects at one point in time and be very busy with that, which will lead us to stage 3 in 1 or 2 years' time, where we can create our own product once we've experienced all of this.